My name is Leo, and I regrew my hair using a Synetics low-level laser therapy. It was my son Hezekiah's first baseball game, and he was 5 years old. It was his very first at bat, very first baseball that they pitched to him. He hits it right into left field, and he rounds the bases for an in-the-park home run. One of the proudest moments as a dad, right? And I remember when the game was over, I went over and I got down on a knee next to him and I took my cap off without thinking about it. And one of the other parents took a picture. And on my way home, I was driving home and I get a text message from that parent with the picture. And I remember looking down at the picture, and there I was in what should be one of the most memorable things in my life. And the only thing that I could focus on, the only thing that I could think about was how bald I was. It just happened to be a picture where I was leaning down, and just my first picture where I had a shiny head. And I deleted that picture, and I went through this period of time where for maybe a week or two, all I did was go through every picture on every phone, on every computer, on every camera, and delete anything that remotely showed a bald spot. And it was a very tough time in my life. I felt like I had turned the corner into this part of my life that I wasn't ready to live yet. And I was overwhelmed with guilt that I destroyed a memory because I didn't want to look bald. After it had become clear to me that I really did have an issue with losing my hair, the first thing I did was try to replace some nutrients and some vitamins. So I went out to my local supplement store and I bought myself vitamin E and folic acid and anything else that I Googled that people said would help you grow your hair back. And obviously that didn't work. And so the next thing that I tried was I went to the grocery store and I picked up some minoxidil, which is the foam, and I started putting that on my head. And I tried that for a couple of weeks, and A, I wasn't very good at keeping up with it, and B, it really wasn't working for me. As a matter of fact, it agitated my scalp and it gave me like a rash on top of my head. And so I had to discontinue using that. The next thing I did was I followed the instructions on an infomercial, and I called and I asked for some information to be sent to me. And I went through the whole course of considering, am I a candidate for a hair transplant? And first of all, they're extremely expensive. It turned out to be a $7,000 or $8,000 I didn't have. And on top of that, I was told that I was too young to do a hair transplant. And so I just had this general feeling of desperation. Like there was nothing that anybody was going to do to help me. And through a weird and absolutely incredible series of events, I was introduced to the owner of Synetics. And I remember I went up to him in the parking lot at church, and I said, John, I probably wore a baseball cap every day, any opportunity that I could. But I said, John, I'm losing my hair, and somebody told me that you might have something that could help me. And I remember I took my cap off, and he said, come over here, let me take a look at your head. And he ran his fingers through the top of my scalp, and he said, I still had a little bit of irritation from some topical solution I had tried. And he said, what's this? And I said, it's just I'm allergic to whatever I tried to put on my head. And he said, you're gonna have to take a couple of weeks, don't put anything on it. And he said, I'm not a doctor, so I can't guarantee you results. But I'll never forget what he told me. He said these words. He said, there's a lot of hope for your hair. And he gave me his number, and he said, give me a call, and we'll get you on a protocol, and we'll see if we can regrow your hair. And for the first time in 2 years, I just was overwhelmed with the idea of thinking that there was some hope for me. 2 days later, we were starting my first protocol, and within 2 weeks, I really had convinced myself that my hair was going to grow. I would rub it and massage my scalp every day, hoping that would help in some way. And sure enough, probably about 4 weeks into it, I started realizing that my hair had stopped falling out. And looking back at it, if that was the best result I got, just the fact that my hair stopped falling out, I would have been extremely happy. That would have been enough to, to deem this a success. But maybe 3, maybe 4 weeks later, I started realizing that the hair was growing back. And so I decided to grow my hair out. My hair grows very fast, so within 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I had a full set of hair. And the bald spots were gone. The hair in the back of my head had come in. And I want to say at the very, very latest, by week 12, it was like I'd never lost my hair. I mean, it just completely grew back. And I've been real happy ever since. I couldn't be happier with the Sonetics low-level laser light therapy. It really works.